What I'm going to do today is take you through the exam demo for AP tests for 2020. So the first thing that I would ask for you to do if you're following along is go to cb.org/AP2020. That will take you to the College Board website. Once you get to the College Board website, you're going to see the updates for AP students affected by the coronavirus, COVID-19. And you see some tips to be prepared for exam day. We'll look at those in just a moment. But the thing I wanted to note is the practice with the demo. This will allow you to know if your computer is going to work properly and what you should expect to see for this year's AP exam. So if you click Learn More here, you will see that you can go to the demo. When you click on the demo, a new window or a new tab opens in your browser. And what you would do if this was the actual exam, you would enter your 8-digit AP ID. Now, some of you may be saying, I don't know what my AP ID is, but that will be on your exam e-ticket that will be emailed to you 2 days before the exam. Some of you also may be saying that I don't get emails from College Board, or maybe sometimes I get in my spam folder. This e-ticket will also be on your AP Classroom. So if you can log into AP Classroom and you've logged onto College Board regularly, then you should have no problem accessing your e-ticket, which will have your AP ID. For this demo, our AP ID is just going to be practice, and you would hit continue. At this point, hopefully you have logged in 30 minutes prior to your exam time. What you'll want to do when you log in 30 minutes prior to your exam time, it will tell you at the bottom of your screen, you see this timer that's counting down. Hopefully it will say about 30 minutes because you have logged in to give yourself enough time, and it will be counting down until your exam starts. You'll want to enter some personal information that will help identify yourself. I'm just going to enter A, B, and different numbers here, but this information will help identify that it is you. And then this information will also help identify where you are testing from. So are you testing at your home, school, or another location? And then it is asking if you would like to grant the College Board the right to use your free response samples. By default, it is accepting. You can also hit decline if you want to, and then you must agree to the terms and conditions, okay? So if you agree to those, you'll check the box. At that point, you would then hit continue, and you'll be done with the personal information part of the exam. So as I hit continue, it has alerted me that my AP exam will begin soon, and it will have your start time on there. At the bottom, you'll still notice the timer. So at that point, you could sit back and kind of get yourself prepared to begin your AP exam. There are 3 ways to submit a response to the exam. The 3 methods are: you can attach a text file, and a text file, all that a text file is going to do is you're going to copy and paste that from another window, which we will show in just a minute. You can also go through and attach a photo if you're only using your phone, and we will talk about that method. And then the third method is the copy and paste. So we did say copy and paste. So this would be attaching a file, maybe a downloaded file. We feel that the copy and paste method is probably going to be the most widely used method, but any method will be fine, any of the 3, depending on what works best for you. So that's why it's important to go through this demo. And so as I look at my computer screen, I see it says the time until the exam starts is down to just over 1 minute. So at this point, I'm going to show you my full screen and what we would do to get ready for the exam. If you're going to attach a file from your computer, you see how you want 2 windows. And the same thing is if you're going to copy and paste. So I'm going to set my computer up to where this is half of the window. and the other half is a Google Doc or some type of text that I will be typing my response in. If you look at copy and paste guidelines, you must include your AP ID and your initials at the top of every page. So at the top of the first page, my AP ID for this session is just practice, right? But you would always want to put in your AP ID and then your initials, and my initials are EW. So I have my initials as well. You cannot paste images into the text box. You cannot type your response into the text box. You must type it into the other window and then copy and paste it. If you make a mistake, you can hit clear, and then you want to check your formatting and make sure it's correct as well. Once you do submit this, it is going to be done. So once you hit the submit button, it will be done. So if you see now, our exam is about to start, and it lets us know, as soon as the timer goes off, it says your exam begins now. So start working on exam question number 1. So I will hit continue. Some exams, so depending on what exam you're taking, some exams are 1-question exams or 2-question exams. If it is a 2-question exam, you will see question 1. The question will appear on the screen. You'll read through question 1 on the screen. Over here, you'll type in your AP ID and your initials, and you will craft your response. So your response may be, the distribution is skewed to the left, the center is at 2034. You could say the spread is 10, the outliers are 39 and 42. So that's just a couple words that I would put in there. Once I have completed the typing of my response, I am able to go through, and you notice it says attach response or paste response. If I just want to paste my response, then I'll click on that, and it gives me a text box. Now, I cannot type in this text box. If I try to type in this text box, it's just grayed out. All I will do is I will highlight where I have typed in the other window, in the Google Docs or in Word or in Notes, and then I will paste that into my response. Now, at this point, when I have completed this, I will hit the submit button. When I hit the submit button, it is done. You cannot go back, even if there is time left. So be careful about hitting the submit button to submit your work. If there is still time remaining, as you see, there's 7 minutes and more to go. If there's still time remaining on the question, it will not give you more time or let you move on to the second question. So there is no advantage in using extra time or finishing early on a question. So you do want to take your time, even if you do feel like you finish early, and continue until the timer is running a little bit lower than that. Once the timer hits the 5-minute mark, what you'll notice is that the timer will turn to red, and that will alert you that we're now under 5 minutes and it's getting close to your time to submit. Because if the timer does go all the way down to 0, what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to submit this document, okay, and it will not allow your response. So you do want to make sure, it doesn't take long to copy and paste, but you do want to make sure you allow yourself time just in case you have a computer issue or something on the exam. When we go back to the question, let's say I decided that I do not want to paste my answer. I'm not done yet. I can go back to the question. I can also attach a response if I'm using the computer. And what that means is when I attach a response, I can either attach a photo. So maybe I've written out my response. I've used my phone to take a picture of the document where I wrote it, and I've uploaded that to my Google Drive. Well, at this point, I could click on attach a photo, and I could go to my Google Drive, and I could attach that picture, okay? Remember, if your response is longer than 1 page, you're able to attach up to 5 photos. You need to take 1 photo for each page. You want to write only on one side, and you want to make sure the entire page is in the shot. The same rules apply. You want to write your 8-digit AP ID, and you want to write your initials and the page number at the top of each page if you're using more than one page. You can only attach one photo at a time, but it will allow you to attach multiple photos. So if you go through and attach the first photo, I'll pick a photo here. Let's say I pick AP Statistics. Then what it shows me is it shows me that I have attached a photo, and there it says photo 1, but it then allows me to still attach another photo before I actually hit the submit button. Okay, so you don't want to submit one. You want to make sure you are attaching more. So then maybe I attach my second page. Now you see I have 2 photos, and I still have not hit the submit button. So you don't want to accidentally hit submit after the first one. You want to when you're done. If you notice, when it hits the 5-minute mark, you see this box coming up here that says submit your response now. Once time expires, you will not be able to go back to this question. So it's going to alert you with that notification, and now the timer has changed to red. Okay. If you wanted to, instead of a photo, if you wanted to attach a text file, so let's get off of the attached photos. If you wanted to attach a text file, it will take doc, docx, PDF, txt for text, and the other. You can only attach one text file per exam. So if you used multiple pages here, you would just save this, and then you would just be able to attach it. You would browse your computer, and then you would attach the file. Okay, so let's go back to the question, and let's say that we wanted to paste our response. Then I will copy my response with the ID number, my initials, and my full response in there. I will hit submit when I'm ready to submit. And it reminds me with the notification that I will not be able to return to this question once I complete this step. So I then hit submit, and it now tells me very quickly that question 1 is complete. It also tells me the time that question 2 will start and not to refresh the page or hit the back button. It then gives me the 3 ways that I can possibly submit my response, and I have to wait until question 2 begins. So question 2 is about 3 minutes away. So while we're waiting for question 2 to begin, I can show you also how it talks about being prepared for exam day. You want to try the exam demo. We've already done that. You also want to complete your exam day checklist, and you want to confirm your email address. So make sure that the email address that College Board has on file is the same email address that you're using. The exam day checklist, if you want to review that, it says your directions for students is just to write your 8-digit AP ID, and you'll find that on your exam ticket, or you can actually find it in My AP right now. Write down the name of your exam, the exam you're taking. Write down the exam date for your subject, and write down the exam start time in your time zone. Write your check-in time, which would be 30 minutes before the exam start time. So if your exam is scheduled to start at 2 p.m., remind yourself that you need to be checking in at 1:30. And then, are you ready to test? So when you get to the testing part, make sure when it gets to that day, do you have the exam ticket email? Have you checked that it's for this exam that you're taking and has the correct date on it? Is your device plugged in and charged? Are you able to use it? Have you practiced the AP demo? And so on. Okay, now we're under 2 minutes. I'll still go back. Have you reviewed your list of required materials and looked at any documents? So there are lists of required materials. As you look through the different subjects, and for instance, my subject is statistics. If you look through these subjects, it will tell you what's required, and there is a link. So there is a link to the formula sheet and tables here. There is a link to the tip sheet for keyboarding tips, and it is allowing you to use a calculator. So if you wanted to look at the keyboarding tips, you could click there, and it would tell you what you should type in for each thing, for mu, for x bar, for p hat, for the null hypothesis, for the alternate hypothesis, and examples of each. So that would be things you want to review before the AP exam day. You want to look at it now and be able to be prepared for that. So now that you've finished the first question, there's less than 1 minute until question number 2. So what we're going to do is practice submitting question number 2 and completing the exam. And so we're going to go in, and I'm going to use the same copy and paste method and show you as question number 2 begins. So in 30 seconds, question number 2 will begin. The other thing that you can do, so we've gone through what you would need on exam day. The only other thing that you can do is make sure 2 days before that you will get the email with your e-ticket. If not, make sure you find it at the on AP Classroom, your e-ticket, and then check in plenty of time so that you have plenty of time before the exam. So now as the timer runs out, automatically question 2 begins now, and it notifies me, and I will hit continue, and my time to complete question number 2 will show up. So I'm going to say that I would like to paste my response. I'm going to copy and paste my response, and then I'm going to submit the question. At that point, it asks me again if I'm ready to submit. I say yes. And now your AP 2020 exam is complete. So when you've completed that last question, no matter how much time was left, you are done, and the exam time is over. And it will show you that it was all completed successfully, as you see by the circles being filled in. And that is the end of the AP Statistics demo.